Now recognize the gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Van Epps, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this very important hearing, and thank you to the witnesses for being here today. Thank you to the Trump administration and your work to keep our country safe. The food and agriculture sector is one of America's 16 designated critical infrastructure sectors. Because nearly 95% of U.S. farms are family-owned operations, our farmers are especially vulnerable, and an attack can rapidly cascade from farms to processors, distributors, and ultimately to grocery shelves nationwide. Agroterrorism isn't just an abstract threat. It is the deliberate introduction of plant or animal pathogens to cause economic damage, food shortages, panic, and strategic disruption. We know this threat is real because agriculture is biologically vulnerable. Many high-consequence livestock diseases, such as foot and mouth disease, do not occur in the United States today. That means our herds lack natural immunity, and an outbreak could spread rapidly before detection. USDA has estimated that a major foot and mouth disease outbreak could cost the United States tens of billions of dollars in economic losses, devastate exports, and require the mass culling of animals to contain spread. A pathogen does not need to be weaponized in a sophisticated lab to cause catastrophic damage. It only needs to be introduced into a dense livestock or processing environment. The modern threat environment compounds this risk. Terrorist networks, transnational criminal organizations, or state-linked actors could attempt to smuggle pathogens through ports of entry, mail systems, research collaborations, or contaminated feed and biological materials. Agriculture is uniquely exposed because farms are geographically dispersed, biosecurity practices vary, and the supply chain depends on continuous movement of animals, feed, and products. A coordinated biological attack on livestock or crops could simultaneously trigger food shortages, economic shock, and strain on military logistics, particularly in districts like mine that host Fort Campbell. This is why the Trump administration's National Farm Security Action Plan is so important. It recognizes that preparedness is paramount. It requires robust biosurveillance, real-time data sharing between USDA, DHS, FBI, and state officials, strong screening at ports of entry, laboratory capacity for rapid pathogen identification, and joint exercises that simulate deliberate biological introduction. If an adversary wants to undermine the United States without firing a shot, targeting our food supply is a strategic pathway. We cannot afford to treat that risk as secondary. Ms. Kelly, what screening protocols are in place at ports of entry to detect intentionally concealed livestock or crop pathogens, and how do those protocols differ from routine inspections designed to catch accidental pest or food violations?
Thank you for the question. Our capabilities start really at the National Targeting Center, where we are harmonizing our law enforcement data holdings with information that is collected and or provided by our partners at the United States Department of Agriculture Animal Plant Health Inspection Service. This information is then shared with our frontline personnel to ensure that we can continue to strike the balance between facilitating trade and enforcing import regulations in a manner in which we can deliver meaningful consequences as well. With regards to malicious attempts, we have varying levels of operational policies and interagency agreements with several of our internal and external partners. These policies are underpinned by the National Incident Management System as well as the National Response Framework.
Thank you. Dr. Grant, when DHS or FBI identifies credible intelligence suggesting an adversary may target U.S. agriculture, how quickly does that information translate into heightened inspection posture at ports of entry?
Thank you so much for that question. We work with our CBP colleagues through the National Targeting Center to disseminate that information to them. In addition, we would work with our state and locals through our health fusion centers to disseminate that information to the localities. So throughout those both mechanisms, we would get that information to the people that need it.
Great, thank you. This is both for Mr. Allen and Ms. Kelly. How are federal agencies ensuring that state agriculture departments and producers receive timely threat intelligence without creating unnecessary alarm?
Thank you for the question, sir. Our Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, through our National Veterinarian Office, works directly with state departments of agriculture to pass information on a regular and timely basis. Including just last week, we had the National State Directors of Agriculture here in DC, and had days of face-to-face meetings with them.
Great, thanks. And Mr. Chairman, I'm out of time, so I yield back.